Hi guys, this is the second part of the video on electronic configuration. In the first part of the video, we looked at how we can draw out the layout of electrons within electron shells for an atom by considering the number of electrons and how these fill up the first shell, the second shell and the third shell, remembering that the first shell is the one that is lowest in energy and closest to the nucleus, and that this one fills up first, but that it can only contain 2 electrons. After the first shell is full, we fill the second shell and then the third shell, each of which can accommodate 8 electrons. We use these principles in order to draw out the electronic configuration for an oxygen atom, which contains 8 negatively charged electrons in order to balance out 8 positively charged protons within the nucleus. We don't always need to draw out if we want to talk about the electronic configuration of an atom, we don't need to always draw out a diagram. Instead, it's often easier to write out the configuration. For example, if we take oxygen, we know that an atom of oxygen contains 8 electrons, and that these electrons are arranged so there's 2 in the first shell and then 6 in the second shell. We can write out this configuration using a standard notation, which is that we write the number of electrons in the first shell, which in this case is 2, followed by a dot, and then the number of electrons in the second shell, which in this case is 6. From this, you can tell that oxygen has a total of 8 electrons, and that we have 2 in the first shell and 6 in the second shell. Let's look at another example. For example, what is the electronic configuration of an atom of chlorine? To work out the electronic configuration, we first need to figure out the number of electrons that will be present in an atom of chlorine. As we saw for oxygen, we can find out the number of electrons in the atom by looking at the periodic table and identifying the atomic number for our element. This tells us the number of protons and therefore the number of electrons. For chlorine, you can see that the atomic number is 17, therefore that we need to arrange 17 electrons in the shells for chlorine. E with a minus sign is just a shorthand that means electron. So, how do we figure out the configuration? Well, to start with, we know that we'll fill up the first shell first, and that the first shell can only contain 2 electrons. So we start by placing 2 electrons in the first shell and following it by a dot.
Hi guys! To continue watching this video and unlock hundreds of other super concise and exam board specific GCSE chemistry and combined science videos, just click on the Snap Revise smiley face. Join me today and together let's make Chemistry at GCSE a walk in the park.